Doug went in the kitchen, stole a hunk of meat. Cook gave him a licking, strung him by his feet. Then had him empty, stripped his skin off clean. Laughed and said, "How tasty, best sausage I have seen." Cook's a killer, shouldn't have ate the pup. Now we'll light a fire, gonna roast him up. 1, 2, 3, the one to fetch the kindlings. Thee!
What the freak?
Interesting rhyme.
Don't know you. Go away.
Uh-oh. Predator. Predator. Predator alert. Predator alert. I'm Chris Hansen from Dateline. Now you see, I'm reading your transcript here, and it's saying a lot of real provocative stuff. So I just have to ask, what do you think should happen here today? I mean, really, what do you think should happen here today? Alright, well, there's something I have to tell you. I'm Chris Hansen from Dateline, and we're doing a show about catching predators. Now, you're free to go if you wish.
A young woman got lost in the swamp. She has ashen hair and a scar on her face. You kids see anyone like that?
Ain't no lassies here. What am I? You're no lassie. Lassie's got tits. Heard an old man say once, when the army was here, he says, "I done lasses in the woods. He's dazzling the soldiers with their tits, and he's torturing the poor lads." That's what he said.
Oh my gosh. What's going on, everybody? This is my review of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for the PS4. It's also available on the Xbox One and the PC. And as you can see with the gameplay right here, I'm basically showing you all the different territories that are in the game. This game is not really a flat-out open world game, so in case anybody was wondering whether or not this game was completely open from the start, it's not really quite like that. But basically, it's all split up into different territories. And as you can see, with each of these territories, there's just all these question marks you can see all over the place. And these are just basically undiscovered locations in the game. And as you can see, there's just a whole bunch. In the last territory we just saw, which was the Islet of Skellige, there was like 100-some question marks. So, you know, it could be anything from a treasure chest to, say, you know, a bandit camp, or maybe destroying a monster's nest, or going into a cave. You know, there's just a lot of different things that you can do in this game. So, there's really no shortage of, I mean, just, there's really a plethora, or however you say that word, just all kinds of stuff in the game. Realistically, in this particular footage you're seeing right here, this was earlier on in the game. As you can see, I'm level 20. But I actually ended up discovering all the question marks and doing pretty much everything the game had to offer, and I still have lots to do afterwards. So it's definitely a huge game, and as you can see right now, there's just all these quests. You know, main quests, side quests, Witcher contracts, you know, as you can see, the treasure hunts. There's really just a lot to do in this game. You could spend a lot of time playing this game because of how huge it is. I mean, there's just absolutely no shortage to do in this game. I mean, it's just huge. You know, to really begin to describe this whole game, it's going to be impossible for me to cover everything about this game. But I really wouldn't want to cover everything about this game, because then that would just be giving away a lot of the game. But basically, this game is fucking huge. I mean, it's really fucking huge. This game would take you a long time to beat and do everything that it has entailed inside of it. I mean, there are just tons of quests. There are just, as I mentioned earlier, showing the map, I mean, there's just all these question marks, which means there's just all these different treasure chests, and I mean, it's just, there's really a lot to do in this game. You're not going to run out of things to do anytime soon when you start this game. And I think one of the best parts about it is that this game has this replayability about it because, you know, it's just, it has this massive amount of replayability because, you know, you may kind of mess up on the storyline, or you may just want to play it a little bit differently, or whatever the case may be, and you may just want to play it on a hard difficulty. And so there's just a lot of different things that can be done in this game because of how big it is. And I mean, it's just really is quite an accomplishment for this company, CD Projekt Red, that made this company, and Warner Brothers. I mean, it's pretty amazing that Warner Brothers published this game, because I almost really thought this game was going to suck just for the simple fact of it being published by Warner Brothers. But actually, this is really quite an amazing game to play. This game kind of feels like Assassin's Creed mixed with Red Dead Redemption. And what I mean by that is it kind of has like Assassin's Creed kind of combat going on, not the insane amount of climbing up buildings and shit like that, but it has, you know, the combat, like swinging the sword and shit like that. And then of course it has the Red Dead Redemption aspect, where it just feels like you're riding a horse all the time. Though I will admit that quite a bit of my time in the game I was basically running around on foot, because I just couldn't help but look at how amazing the environment was, because it really was just, this whole world and everything that's in it, it just looks so amazing. And everything about this game, from the storyline to the gameplay, everything that was put into this game was just well thought out. They really did a marvelous job on this game. Every little mechanic and thing they put in this game, it's just, it simply is amazing. Now at the end of this video, there will be a couple of clips I'll show of just a couple of random things that happened to me in my time of playing the game. But needless to say, regardless of the random things that happen, this game is just simply amazing. I highly recommend to pick up this game because of how amazing it is. It definitely is a game you'll spend a lot of time playing because of how huge it is. I mean, I know for a fact that just by, you know, and I checked this in my stats, because you can check your stats in the game, and it said that I put like 9 days into this game. So I mean, I definitely have put a lot of time into this game. It's just, I've been playing it night and day because of how amazing it is. It's huge, and you could definitely spend a lot of time playing this game. I mean, you know, going into this game, I wasn't really sure what to think, and I kind of was thinking, you know, I was hoping that for this gen of consoles, that it would be something to the equivalent of how amazing Skyrim is, and I just have to say that it just about meets all of those, and it meets all of those points. There are some things about this game that, to me, is not better than Skyrim, and I hate to say that, because, you know, I really don't want to compare this game to Skyrim. This experience that is here in The Witcher 3 really is quite an amazing one at that. I mean, certainly the fact that I didn't have to go through as many load times, and considering that, you know, the combat does feel a little bit more interesting than what I got in Skyrim, there are some gripes I have about this game. And it's not so much the fact that I had to play Geralt, you know, the main character. It's not really, that wasn't really as much of an issue for me. I mean, obviously I noticed the fact that I couldn't make my own character, and they're just following along with from the previous 2 Witcher games. So I can't really hold that against it to them, but I do think that CD Projekt Red will have the potential, if they want, to make a role-playing game. If they wanted to do something like Skyrim, where you could make your own character from the start, I believe that this company has serious potential ahead of themselves if they should decide that they want to make something similar to the Elder Scrolls games, and make it just an action-oriented kind of thing. Although I do kind of wish that this game would have had a crouch mechanic or something to kind of introduce a stealth mechanic into the game, would have been pretty awesome. And that's just how I feel about it. But aside from that, the action-oriented nature of it doesn't make it bad. It actually does make it fun, and it makes you constantly moving all the time. So it definitely is really awesome how this game was made. So I don't really have any complaints as far as that's concerned. But I do have some little tiny complaints, because it's kind of hard not to after you play a game like Skyrim. I mean, again, I'm not trying to compare this game to Skyrim, because really this game is not exactly like Skyrim, but there are some things that I do have to mention, and one of which is the fact that this game sort of forces you to play the storyline to really max up your main level of your character, which in turn gives you your skill points, which you can then distribute for your perks and stuff. I really wish the game wouldn't really force me to have to play the main storyline in order to get the max level up. It's not that the storyline wasn't good or that it wasn't compelling or anything like that, but it just seems to me that the very fact that they really asked me to do that was a little bit much. And when you go to a game like Skyrim where they don't even force you to play the main storyline, I mean, you could even just do it last if you wanted to. It's just something like that. It's just kind of hard not to notice that I wish this game would have done something like that. And that's just personally how I feel about that aspect of it right there. It didn't stop me from playing the storyline, though. I mean, the storyline is simply breathtakingly amazing. So I definitely highly encourage people to play the storyline, as well as just do everything this game has to offer, because, you know, you can get in fist fights, which is basically like a fight club kind of thing going on. And it even has a Gwent card game, which is basically the equivalent of, you know, playing Magic the Gathering, if you ever played that. It kind of reminds me of that. Certainly not anything as cheesy as like playing, you know, Digimon or something, or Pokemon or something like that. Certainly not cheesy like that, but it definitely is an interesting little card game that they threw in there, and it does pack in some strategy to play it. And it's still, you know, it's a collectible card game as well, so it definitely adds a bit of a collectible kind of nature where you'll try to find merchants who have the cards and buy it from them, or even try winning them from other players. And then there's horse races in this game, and then there's the fact that you can, you know, craft armor and weapons and stuff, and craft alchemy ingredients, which are like potions and stuff that you can use on your character. And then there's these different oils and stuff that you can put on your blades, which is basically the equivalent of like enchanting and stuff like that, and stuff that you can put on your armor, and, you know, things of that nature. And there certainly is a tendency in this game where, you know, you'll be playing it one day, and then the very next day you'll get a special piece of armor that you didn't have yesterday, and it makes you just that much stronger. And then there's just other elements in the game where, you know, your overall level will be one level higher than it was yesterday, or 2 levels higher, or whatever. And you'll just constantly have little rewards in the game. You know, the game really does a great job of making you feel like you're always getting something special every day that you play the game. So it definitely has that element that's really nice, that's really compelling, and really just, this whole game was just really well thought out. I really can't say the game is a bad game. All in all, I mean, this game does kind of remind me of like Dragon Age Inquisition, except for the fact that, you know, obviously you don't create your own character, which, again, like I said, you know, CD Projekt Red definitely has the potential ahead of them if they really wanted to go that direction. But anyway, this game really surprised me. I didn't really know what it was going to be like going into it, because I did not play the previous 2 Witcher games. So I was definitely not sure of what to think, and I definitely have to say I highly recommend this game. It's really a game that you could spend well over 100 hours, at least in your first playthrough, because that's how big it is. And I know I already have anyway, because I know I've put 9 days into the game. So, you know, you take 9 and times it by 24, and that's how much time I put in the game right now, currently. And I know that I'm definitely going to put more time into it. So as you can see, it's just really a massive game. And that's not including the fact that I'm going to probably play it on a higher difficulty, play the storyline a little bit differently, or maybe just mess around my next playthrough. I mean, there's just a lot to do in this game. So really, this game is just simply amazing. And there's just no other way to put it except the fact that this game is easily a 10 out of 10 game. It's just really amazing. Well, I hope you guys enjoy my review of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for the PS4. As you'll see with this last one right here, this last clip is me. Yeah, it's pretty, I was laughing pretty hard on this particular part. But definitely I recommend picking up this game. It's easily a 10 out of 10. It's just simply a breathtaking journey all the way through, and I definitely highly recommend to get this game. So it's easily the next, basically the next Skyrim of the new gen, basically. New generation of consoles, and yeah. So definitely pick up this game. It's really amazing. 10 out of 10. This is just simply a masterpiece. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and I will see you guys later.